was there a thing happen? And I see Matt I see the best looking cameraman ever working on something here. What's happening?
No,
is this your reality TV show?
This is my new reality TV show. The Road So Far Supernatural, Friends and Families Only.
That's a long title, but I like it a lot.
It is. No, he's helping me get footage.
Nice.
I want to document this. I don't know if I'll ever have another experience like this in my life. Just like I said it before, I'm like, you're invested when you come to a convention like this because you want community. And it is so real, and I love it.
It is.
So,
this is a good community for you. Right to look at this crowd. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I apologize for my horrible entrance. I wasn't sure. I couldn't hear back there. I'm getting very, very old. Not just old, very, very old. And I kept hearing, wow. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to come on with you or what, but no. Hi. Such fun to be with Lisa. We went out for dinner last night, didn't we, Lisa?
Yes, we did. We had sausages.
Yes.
We had a proper death meal.
Only the best.
He tried to kill me several times, jaywalking.
Jaywalking. I've quite got the hang of road etiquette.
Okay, going this way now.
Yeah. Well.
My
Anyway,
favorite thing now.
because we don't actually, contrary to what people think, we don't get to hang out much. Like,
No.
if you're in the same show together, sometimes you don't even see each other. Well, we don't. We were never on set together, were we?
It'll never happen.
And so people often think that we know each other intimately. Well, you and I go back, so we know each other from theater days, from drama days, right? But it's so cool for us to be together at a convention with our supernatural family. So,
Who has the first question?
yeah.
Who has the first question? There's so many. Hi.
It looks like it's you. Hello. One of my friends, we on the Saturday we watched a TV show right now we're watching Umbrella Academy, which I'm excited to see you, Julian.
Thank you.
My question is, what was your favorite thing about Umbrella Academy?
My favorite thing? Well, okay. I'll tell you one thing. Having been on a show like Supernatural, where it's a very tight, small family, the scenes I was always in Supernatural were with Jared or Jensen or Misha, two-handers, right? Working on a two-hander is a lot more simple, well, straightforward, I guess, than working on a larger canvas. And the thing about Umbrella Academy is it has 7 or 8 main characters, which creates potential chaos, and it makes it hard for a supporting actor or a character actor who comes in for a specific episode. It makes it harder to do that sometimes, to kind of figure out who's who, what's going on, what your relationship is. But they were all really cool and really good with each other. There was no sort of that person's more important than that person. So it was a joy. It was really good. I don't know, Lisa, are you the same as me, where you sort of sometimes parachute into a show and you go, uh-oh, this isn't good. There's not a good vibe going on here. And then there's other shows like Supernatural, Umbrella Academy, where you go, let me play! Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, I think.
We started last week. We only watched the first 4 episodes. I'm excited when it gets to you, though.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay. And I got to look very sharp in my suit, too, as well. That's always fun. All right.
It's okay. You're not going to die.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, my name's Dina.
Hi, Dina.
I was wondering, death seems such like a infinite being. It's really hard for us to comprehend. I was wondering, when you were both approaching it, how did you try to bring that infinite down to something that you could put on the screen?
How did you do it?
I just took the script. I didn't know.
Said the words.
Well, I'll be honest. Like, I didn't know a lot about Supernatural before I shot the scene. So I, you know, as an actor, you always do your homework and you figure it out, and you figure out what the show's about and what the tone of the world is. But I didn't know an awful lot, so the main thing I had to go on was the script, honestly. And it was kind of a script that was a bit funny and a bit dark, and it had this idea of an obsessive food thing, you know, like really liking pizza, but really being pissed off with this young guy who was getting a bit uppity. So I just took those notions and worked with it. And thanks to Jensen, who worked so generously with me, he kind of built this rapport where it became a bit like a stern uncle with his naughty nephew, sort of thing, you know? So that's the way I took it.
I mean, I love that because you know I love how you play Death. I mean, I love how you do everything, right? I'm not alone. I had the advantage of getting to watch your performance and build the character around that understanding. And because I am a fan of the show, for those who know, I've watched the show several times. I know it. I'm a fangirl just like you guys, and I always embodied her as a tree, because I always wanted her to be very, very grounded, very rooted, but also had this infinite potential of reaching up while also reaching down, so it felt very cosmic, and it just rooted me in a way that let me feel grounded every time I was in a scene with one of the boys, and they come with their own energy, as you know. So Lisa Berry, in my trailer, is like, oh my God, oh my God. You know, like just having a panic attack in the best way. And then I have to get on set, and so I needed to know the very distinct difference between how Lisa Berry acts and how Billy acts. And so having the image of a tree, having that stability helped me kind of settle my nerves, ground me in a real way, and then I was able to do the show. Great question. Hi.
Hi, I'm Blake, and I was wondering what your guys' favorite episodes to be on
Ooh, what's your favorite episode?
Well, I think it's got to be the first one I was in, which was so, it was a big deal for me to come in. So the first thing I did was that intro, which was pretty good. It was pretty good. And I had no idea at the time, and I was... but you know, like, that is a fantastic montage, but of course when you're doing it, you've got no idea that it's got an amazing soundtrack, right? And montages are weird to shoot because, you know, it's like, okay, get out of the car, get out again. We need to see your finger. We need to see your stick. You know, so it's a little bit like that, so stop, start, stop, start. But I knew that it was really cool, the way that it was being shot, and I could tell that it was a really nice setup, but it was a delight when I actually saw it played back to me, because it had all the technical magic. So that was cool, and that was my favorite episode, because then I got to play in the pizza parlor afterwards. So for me, I think that was the groundbreaker, and my favorite.
Likewise, I'd have to go with my first episode too. I love that I got to come on singing that song. It was so iconic on the show. And so for me, it was like, I know. Yes, it was like, I know what this means. So it was really fun.
You kind of feel you're part of a culture too, don't you? When you're sort of referring to things within the show, and you're passing them on, or you're receiving them, and then you're taking them in your own direction. You go, this is great. And then you, Lisa, can take that stuff, but you can invest you in it too. So,
Yeah. So it was really nice to have it be reimagined so that it wasn't the exact same entrance. Like now that we know and we look back and we can say, oh my goodness, we became Death. I mean, and you know, we'll get to it, but in my mind, I always played her as Death from the very beginning. I didn't know I was going to be Death. But when I said the old Death, I just assumed I was the new. That's how, as an actor, you gotta fill it with something, you gotta let it have meaning for you, and so I would always come into the show with an idea of, I got another download. And when you become Death, after you've been a Reaper, I did way too much backstory, didn't I? Way too much backstory. I probably wrote like a fan fiction book on my character.
Lisa
how
was
much
telling me all
backstory.
about it last night. She was explaining that the whole trajectory of Reapers and
The
Death. and
lore
stuff.
of it all.
Yeah,
And so when I came on, the first wave of information was just of all the cosmic, broad strokes. What's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, and then I started getting more and more downloads. So if you ever go back and watch the show, which I know you will, you will see, you'll kind of get a sense, now that you know that that's what I was doing, you'll get a sense of she's gotten another download. She knows more now, and it's propelling her forward even more, because when you come back and you don't know how you're going to build a character that you don't know is going to come back, you have to really bring everything you got to that moment, because you don't know if that's all you got. Just like life, right? And so Billy was this character that just kept evolving, and every time I would get to come back, I was like, what's the latest download? It was cool.
So, can I take it to another question to you?
Yeah.
Because this is a really cool topic, and I never get the chance to sort of share this. Right? So, for me, playing a character like that, obviously, like I just said, you take the script, you take the knowledge of the show, you create your own logic, etc., etc., and then you serve the story, right? But also, you can't help it, but you bring you into the character, even though you're not trying to, but you do. You bring your influences, you bring your heroes, you bring your favorite episodes from other shows that you've watched. And I'm far enough away from the show now to look back, and I talk to fans about influences on my career, and I realized without even knowing, but I was actually channeling some of my heroes from the 60s, because when I was a kid in England growing up, I used to watch Hammer Horror, and the heroes of Hammer Horror were Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Donald Pleasance, those guys, very old, formal white guys walking around in suits, very elegant, but very sort of creepy but in a very elegant way. And I didn't realize it, but I think when I knew I had to play a Grim Reaper, that was who I was channeling. And I wondered if there's anybody that you kind of like, that either you consciously or unconsciously look to when you're playing a character like Billy. Is there anyone?
I always embody my mother in a lot of things, because she's the strongest woman I know. So anytime a character I have needs to have strength, I pull from that.
So it's personal. So
It's super personal.
Rather than like somebody that you've seen as a hero or a heroine growing up.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who likes to tap into their DNA and their ancestors. I'm always like, God, go before me, give me the wisdom of my ancestors. I'm that kind of person. So I like to try and channel the energy and the essence of where I came from.
And do you do it consciously, or does it just come to you and you go, oh, that's my mom?
You know what? I do it consciously. Like when I'm writing, I have a process. I sit down, I do a meditation, and I ask for my spirit guides of the highest truth and compassion to come through and let what needs to come onto the page come onto the page. And sometimes it's a line, and sometimes it's like a flood of everything that's on my heart. And oftentimes my grandmother will show up. And I didn't know my grandmother in life, but in death, she came to me really quickly in a way that even kind of, like my mother was just like, I can believe you because you are saying things that make way too much sense. And so my grandmother oftentimes helps me write, which makes me think, did you have a desire to be a writer, but that just wasn't an option for you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have that energy in me. And I remember sitting with my mom in her living room now, and I told her, I was like, Grandma's not at the cemetery. And she was like, what? And I was like, Grandma keeps telling me that it's like, you can go there for you, but I'm not there. I'm in our home. If you ever want me, this is where you'll find me. And my mom was like, I could never feel her there. I could never feel her there. And I was like, yeah, because she's not there. And it was this weird, eerie moment where me and my mom bonded, and then me and my grandmother and my mom, and like the line of all of that just became tight in a really beautiful way.
Well, thanks for sharing.
I bring a lot of spirituality to my work.
Well, guess we better go on to someone else asking the question. Is it the side? Which side is it? That side.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Claire.
Hi, Bonnie Claire.
Pleasure to meet you both. My question is for Julian. How did you feel when you got the script and you saw that Dean was going to kill you? Because it broke my heart.
It broke mine too.
Mine too.
No, I mean, you know, as an actor that's been killed hundreds of times in movies and TV shows and things, I always expected to be coming sooner or later. I must admit I was a bit surprised when the character of Death gets killed. That was a surprise, but then that's the whole thing about the writing of Supernatural, is that it's very smart, it's one step ahead of everybody else, and I think that's what keeps the fan base, or kept the fan base on its toes, is that expect the unexpected. And you're going to have the rug pulled from underneath you, and that's really good. That keeps things really special, I think, and I think that's why the show has survived and been interesting, not just sort of a stale version of itself. The funniest thing that happened to me once was so you know, I get killed, fair enough. I had the best exit line, I think I just killed Death, which I think is a great line. But there was one show I did called Heartland. You ever go on Heartland?
We did it together.
Yes, we did. Holy shit.
My hair was different.
That's right.
I was younger.
No, that's right. Well, you know, Mr. Hanley, of course, I'm sorry. But Mr. Hanley, who I played on there, died. And I didn't know. And then I turned on the TV, like, one season later, and I was with my daughter and said, let's see what's happening on Heartland, what's going on in the ranch. And it cut to Amber saying, it's so sad, what happened to Mr. Hanley? Cut to an ambulance going down the driveway with me dead inside it, or Mr. Hanley dead inside it. Anyway, so that was a bit of a shock. But anyway, all right.
Hard way to find out that they've moved on without you.
Right. But life and death go on. Yeah. All right, thank you. Thanks for
Great
the
question. Hi.
Hi, my name is Christina, and I was just wondering what like the coolest part of being part of the show was.
Being part of the show.
You guys. Yeah. I really don't say it enough. You guys are really amazing. The most supportive group of people I have ever come across in my entire life. They're just like, you got a new show? You're like, what channel's it on, girl? We'll watch. You know what I mean? You're like, we playing. What city? I'll get my tickets. My mother doesn't even give that kind of support. You know what I mean? Truly, like, it's one thing to be on a show, and then it's another thing to be a part of a community with that show. Different. It hits different.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It's especially cool to have gatherings of supernatural family, right? And that's what makes these events really special. But I feel that I'm part of this universal family. Wherever I go, I'm likely to get somebody going, hey, Death, how's it going? And you know, people coming up. People are everywhere, but people are generous with their feeling of belonging to this community, and they want to share, but they want to share in a way that's kind of going, hey, we're part of it, right? And nice to see you, and it's just supportive and fantastic. So,
Great question.
thank you.
Hi. Hi, April.
And my question is for Lisa. Do you feel like you were cheated that you got killed by the empty instead of somebody on the show itself?
Well, getting killed by the empty is getting killed by somebody on the show. But it's a rough way to go, man. I think it was a good way to go. I love that they got to die in that way too. And I have no ill feelings about it. I actually am just like, yes, I will be back. I will be back. But I think that's just Billy's mentality, you know what I mean? She's just like, they put Nelson Mandela in jail, man. Like, no, there's always a comeback. Do you know what I mean? So I think Billy's an optimistic character. Great question.
Hi, my name is Mandy, and my question is, which one of you played Death better?
Julian.
Julian. What I like about it is that we are so different that there is no comparison, right? I'm serious, I mean, a lot of people have asked me that, oh, but it's so cool, the idea that this death was replaced by the notion of death as embodied by Lisa, embodying Billy. It means that death is a part of our life cycle, and it's just, isn't it cool? That it's not just about, oh man, that guy's great, oh he's really cool, oh she's not quite so cool, she's even cooler. It's about like, oh my God, so death is that guy, death is this woman, death is gonna move on, and it's always there. And yeah, I just think it's so cool.
So do I. I mean, I will say Julian because I do love the way he plays that character and so many other characters that he plays.
But Lisa, that's about first and second. Like whenever like older siblings, you know, the older sibling always sort of has a little bit of ownership, not because they're better, but because they've been there first. And it's the same with Lex, right? Like you're looking to me because I happen to be the one that was around.
It's beautiful shoes to walk into. You left a wonderful legacy and a great strength, and it was an honor. It was an honor to walk into that role. And I know it's not about better or who played it in a way that resonates with you more, but I do love the idea of it being different. And so I'm not saying it from a comparison perspective, but I am saying it from a place of I absolutely honor and love everything that you did with the character, and I really wanted to bring a lot of that into who you know, death is. And I think all of the death, and again, we get back into like my backstory, but I think a little bit of every death is connected to the new death. Yeah. Is what it feels like anyways. And so we're always trying to kind of finish where they left off. So it has that lineage feel, but I do appreciate that it's just different, not better.
Right. Wow.
I've waited for this for so long. Thank you. That's a great question. Hi.
Hi, my name is Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
And I'm going to tell you a brief story. In 1980, I was with a friend of mine when he passed away, and I met the Angel of Death. And I wanted to tell you, Julian, your portrayal of that character with the kindness and the humility that you put into that character was just like the person that I met in that event.
Well, okay, I'm very touched, and thank you. I think Lisa would share this in that when you're playing somebody that represents something more than just a human earthbound character, you try to embody everything, including kindness and grace and hope. So that if you're playing a character named Death, you're not just, it's about possibility and about rebirth. It's not just about being a bad guy that's come to get you, because death, we need death in order to be life. So if I've done that, if Lisa's done that, then you know that's what's important.
You're both really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Drunk foodie, but my question's for Lisa. In the episode where Billy kept Sam and Bean add more souls to the Waverly Hills crystal, there was a knowing dance between Billy and Crowley. Do you think there was something
I thought there was, and then it never happened. It was like a good first date that just went nowhere. I always wanted to explore that. I was like, where are we going with this? I'm in. I'm a yes and to this. But then they never brought it back. They never brought it back. But I thought it would have been a fun road to go down for sure. I'm glad you noticed it. I noticed it too. I did. I did. Hi.
Hi, I'm Addie,
Hi, Addie.
and I was wondering, first of all, I love both of your characters so much. You guys have some of my favorite scenes in the show, like Julian, your entrance, and Lisa, that scene with Dean in the library. Love it so much. But you mentioned you were a fan, so both as a fan and an actor, if Supernatural were to come back, because as you know, nothing ever really dies here, what would you want to see in that?
What would you want to be or see?
What would you want to see?
See.
What would you want to see?
I would love your characters, but I don't know how well that would work with the plot. But I would love some like good old early season just monster to become.
Ooh, those are fun. Those are fun. I think I'd want to see characters interact with characters that they've never interacted with before. I think that'd be fun. You know, I think it'd be great to have like even if we got to be together because you're just like now you're in the MD2 and you're like, is this where the deaths go? I don't know. There's like a party of us. I don't know. I'm just trying to stay alive in this reality of the show going again. So I find a way. We'll make it happen in the right.
Yeah, and I love just the simple thing of a road and a car and the planes, you know, just driving and being in a road movie or an exploration together is kind of exciting. So there's so many elements that you could go in each direction. Yeah. I don't know.
Very exciting. We're gonna be talking about that one for a while. Yeah. Good question.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm from Canada. Just wanted to say, or ask, sorry. Lisa, when you're already a fangirl of a show and you get your script, or you find out from your agent or whomever that you got the show, and you read that script and you see that, I'm assuming, that you get to sing the death song on your opening, and then become death, what does that do to you inside?
Nerves, nothing but nerves. As a fan of the show, I'm very aware of the song and its connection and its lineage. So I was like, are you sure you'd like me to sing that song? Really? Okay. So I started working with a singing coach right away. And Phil Screechy, one of the producers, he called me up and he said, first off, do y'all know the whole process of how I got the part? Some do. Do you want to hear? For those who don't want to know how I got the part? So I got the part after auditioning for the show for 10 years. Okay, talk about commitment. And every year I'd be like, oh my God, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one. And then by like season 7, I was like, fuck, I don't know how long the show's gonna be on. I'm really trying to manifest something here. And then I auditioned in Vancouver, and there are 2 aisles. Girls on either side were auditioning for the part of the witches who are going to work with Rowena. And Jensen's running behind, and we're all sitting down like this. And he comes through the door and he walks down the line, and every girl, I shit you not, is like, and you can just see the nerves. People started sweating. And I was one of them, and I was like, no, girl, you need to get ready, because you start working with your favorite people. You're gonna start working with your favorite people, so I need you to be calm. And I took a second to walk away from everybody, and I just grounded myself, and I went into the room, and I did the audition. And then you have Jensen who said, could you try it a little bit more stern? Like, don't fuck with me. I was like, oh, sure. Because like in that scene with Rowena, the witches don't have the power. Rowena does, so he asked me to play it a different way. And I was like, sure, yeah. Do it a different way. I walk out, I call my girlfriend. I just worked with Jensen. That is the news story, and I'm sticking with it. I was like, he gave me direction, I feel really good about this, whether I get the show or I don't get the show. All I know is I worked with Jensen, I can die now. And I don't get the part. I was like, God damn. I was so sure of that one. And then my managers called saying, Phil wants to talk to you. I was like, what? They have a part that they've written, and they think you'd be good for it. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, it's one scene, we don't know if it's gonna come back. I'm like, okay, sure. 2 days later, could you sing as well? I was like, yeah, can you send us a clip of you singing just so we have it? I was like, oh yeah, sure. You know? And they get the clip and go, okay. And then I get the script and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? So I went to town and I got a coach and I started singing. And he said, you only have to know the part that you're singing in the show. And I said, I'm gonna learn the whole fucking song. Because that's what you do. That's what you do. And so on the day of filming, they were like, hey, why don't you go into the recording booth and sing the whole song? And I was like, oh, sure, not a problem. I'm singing in the privacy of this little booth, so I've got no nerves. I sing the song, and then I got a message from Phil being like, hey, this is gonna drop. I just wanted you to get it first. And then I see that it's my song, my version of the song, on the trailer. I can die now.
So, I got the job in very different circumstances. You knew almost too much. Like you knew a lot about the show, you knew a lot about the audition process. So I was asked to do a self-tape. And this was early days when you started to send things from a different city to Vancouver and put yourself on tape. But it was secret and it was just lines of dialogue. And I didn't know the context. I knew it was from this show called Supernatural, and that was it. So I read it and I put myself on self-tape and I sent it away. Nothing. Well, you just move on, right? You just forget about it. And then I went and I had a couple of jobs, and then I had a big job out west in the prairies, and I was focused on this job. I was like lead in a movie. And then my agent called and said, well, after you finish shooting that movie, you have to go to Vancouver because you actually got the role in that show called Supernatural. That one that you did the self-tape for, you know. Oh yes, Pestilence. I auditioned for Pestilence. So that I think at the time, what the only script that they had for the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse was Pestilence. And they asked everybody to read, and then they kind of mixed and matched and figured out how they could get the four different horsemen. And they cast me as Death. That's my assumption anyway. So I arrived in Vancouver not knowing an awful lot about the show or even why I was there. So it's two completely different stories.
I love that we have two totally different ways that we came to the same place. I love it so much. Great question.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Brooklyn, and I was wondering how you guys got into acting and if you have any advice. And also, Billy is the only character, or main character, that has made me cry the most on the show because of Castiel's loss. Aww. So, I love you guys.
Oh, I love you. What advice do you have? I'm listening.
How did I get into acting? I've always acted. I'm a middle child. I think middle children are always the biggest performers because they're different for each sibling, and they're not really the youngest, they're not the eldest, so that makes a difference. I also was blessed that I had an older brother who had this peculiar talent. He used to build things, and he used to build spook houses in our backyard. He used to go down and copy the writing on fairground trucks and all kinds of stuff. So he would get me to be the ringmaster in the circus that we created in our backyard and stuff like that, or be the ghost in his spook house. And he joined a youth club when he was a kid and built the scenery. He became a set designer. I went to the same youth club. I didn't want to do what he did. I was better socially, so I became an actor. And then my younger brother went to the same youth club and he became a lighting designer. And to me, it's just an indication that we're all creative, and if your parents or whoever it is open enough to channel that creativity at a certain age, you will blossom. And we were all really fortunate that my parents recognized the peculiar talent of my older brother, and three of us, as a result, have had professions in theater.
Oh my God, I love that. It's so true. Because my mom was my momager. And she was the one who really encouraged me to do what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be doing it if not for her 100%. She can't sing, but she was my vocal coach for years and years. And all she would say to me is just be like, sing from your heart, girl. Just sing from your heart. And that's kind of what I try to do to this day. Like, it's the advice that I still keep. So it's like, perform from your heart and just never give up. That is truly the secret to success. Like, you want to know it? Here it is. Don't quit. Keep going. Because it's really just about sticking it out.
And to keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a muscle, and you have to just keep using it. And maybe I don't know. Some people are a bit different. I'm the kind of actor that says, if somebody wants me to do something, I'll go, sure, I'll play, and I like doing it. I'm not kind of going, oh, I don't know if this is good for my career because this isn't the kind of role that normally people associate with me. I don't do that. Some people, that's more important to do it. But for me, I have a muscle. I love using that muscle. I do it as much as I can.
Yeah, because like I love singing, but I was too scared to do it as a profession. So I worked endlessly on my speaking voice. Working through the range, working through everything, because I just love the work of it. And to this day, like you'll see, I'll literally wake up, drop my kid off at school and be like, vocal session time. And I'll just do a whole bunch of vocal warm-ups, exercises, sing the shit out of something just because I can, and just use it because it feels good to do it. Good question. Hi.
Hi, my name's Brenda. First off, you're gorgeous. I always thought that since I first saw you. But both deaths are so differently presenting, and even personality and how they interact with the boys, with everyone else. And I know you said you think a little bit of each death is left over in the next one. Because I know Billy always had a love-hate relationship with the boys and how they died from that. And but what I want to know is, she seemed to have such a switch, such anger when she became deaf, that she had this like one-track mind. This is what's going to happen. And I wonder if a lot of her switch and her anger came from Julian's death, of how he was killed by someone he was trying to help.
Yes, girl. Yes. Because you gotta understand, again, the backstory. I was always there. Every scene that you had, like I remember going back and watching them specifically and being like, you're right there, bitch, you're right there. And I would look at it from the perspective of, how would I do it? But I can't say anything, I can't do anything. He's the boss. And when it happened, when it all went down, I just said to myself, you know, we're done with this. These deals end with this death. Because I now have the knowledge of all the other deaths who would make bargains, and you know what I mean? You know when you're just like, I'm breaking the line, I'm breaking the chain, it ends with me? I think that's Billy's motivation. Good question. This looks like it's our time.
Hi, guys.
Question, because she's just standing there. She's just like, just a what?
I feel like we do have time for one more, as long as it's the best question anywhere. No pressure.
It is the best question. My name's Emily, and I was wondering if you could sing the death song for us.
Pretty good question. Pretty good question.
I don't even remember all the lyrics.
You sing, I'll walk.
Oh, Dad. That's him. Oh, Dad, won't you spare me over another? But what is this that I can't see with ice cold hands taking hold on me? That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Julie Mitchell. Julie Mitchell.